Привет всем, and welcome to the fourth part of Giraffe by Nikolai Gumilyov. Today we are going to go through the fourth stanza out of 5, and before we do that, we are actually going to listen really quickly and take a short review of the first 3 stanzas, though we won't be translating them. Remember what you have watched and learned in past videos and try to recall the rest of the poem before we start this next section. Сегодня я вижу особенно грустен твой взгляд, и руки особенно тонкие, колени обняв. Послушай, далеко-далеко на озере Чад изысканный бродит жираф. Ему грациозная стройность и нега дана, и шкуру его украшает волшебный узор, с которым равняться осмелится только луна, дробясь и качаясь на влаге широких озер. Вдали он подобен цветным парусам корабля, и бег его плавен, как радостный птичий полет. Я знаю, что много чудесного видит земля, когда на закате он прячется в мраморный грот. And our fourth stanza is this. Я знаю веселые сказки таинственных стран, про черную деву, про страсть молодого вождя. Но ты слишком долго вдыхала тяжелый туман. Ты верить не хочешь во что-нибудь, кроме дождя. So our first line of this fourth stanza is again, Я знаю веселые сказки таинственных стран. This is just a sentence fragment of this stanza. It can also function as a complete sentence. So let's put a period in our imaginations. Let's put a period at the end of this line and talk about the different sections. So it starts with a subject in the nominative case, this pronoun я, meaning I. Then we have знаю, which is znat, to know, conjugated for I. We've seen this actually earlier in the poem. After this, we have 2 words that are accusative. They are plural and they are inanimate, so they look as they would in nominative. And this is веселые, meaning cheerful, сказки, meaning fairy tales. One fairy tale is a сказка. So я знаю веселые сказки, I know cheerful tales. And then our next 2 words are a genitive construction. They are in genitive plural. Таинственных is mysterious, and стран is the genitive plural of страна, meaning country. And as with genitive plurals that end in a vowel, or most of them, we form it by taking away that vowel. Our second line today is a continuation of the first, which is про черную деву, про страсть молодого вождя. So pra here is a preposition meaning about, so we are referring back to the fairy tale mentioned in the first line of this stanza. To recap, that first stanza is, I know cheerful tales of черную, a black, деву, дева is a maiden, about a black maiden, and about, про again, about страсть, the passion, молодого, of a, we know of because this is in genitive, but молодой means young, молодого вождя, a leader, of a young leader. The third line is Но ты слишком долго вдыхала тяжелый туман. Но means but. Ты is the informal you. Remember in the beginning of the poem, Gumilyov was talking about how sad someone looks, and he was talking to a person. He said, Сегодня я вижу особенно грустен твой взгляд, which by this point in these videos I'm sure you're sick of hearing, but he is speaking to someone, and here we see him return to that when he says, but you, ты, слишком is too much of something, and in this case it is слишком долго, or too long. Вдыхала is to breathe or inhale. Тяжелый is heavy, and туман is fog. Но ты слишком долго вдыхала тяжелый туман, but you have been breathing a heavy fog for too long. The final line of this stanza is Ты верить не хочешь во что-нибудь, кроме дождя. So again, here he's saying ты and addressing this person. Верить is a verb. It is a infinitive as well, and it is not the first verb of the sentence. As we would put in English, we would say Ты не хочешь верить, but in Russian you can move the words around. But before I talk about that, I should tell you the words themselves. So верить is to believe. Не is a particle of negation, and хочешь is to want, conjugated for ты. So ты не хочешь верить, you don't want to believe. Во что-нибудь, во here is the same as the preposition в, but we add an o because directly following it is the word что, which begins with a consonant cluster. The Russian language, you typically insert that o to break up too many consonants at once. You don't want to believe в in, что-нибудь is anything, кроме is except, and дождя is rain. So you don't want to believe in anything besides the rain. So throughout this poem, we've been talking about this glorious giraffe that wanders and does beautiful things. But we began the poem by saying that someone was very sad, and Gumilyov said, listen, far away on the Lake Chad, a fine giraffe wanders. So it's a distraction. This fourth stanza brings us back to the original beginning. So let's look at this entire stanza together. Я знаю веселые сказки таинственных стран, про черную деву, про страсть молодого вождя. Но ты слишком долго вдыхала тяжелый туман. Ты верить не хочешь во что-нибудь, кроме дождя. I know cheerful tales of mysterious countries, of a black maiden, of the passion of a young leader. But you have been breathing the heavy fog for too long. You don't want to believe in anything besides the rain. So now listen to these four stanzas together, and remember there's only one left after this, and you will have all of the information. Сегодня я вижу особенно грустен твой взгляд, и руки особенно тонкие, колени обняв. Послушай, далеко-далеко на озеро Чад изысканный бродит жираф. Ему грациозная стройность и мега дана, и шкуру его украшает волшебный узор, с которым равняться осмелится только луна, дробясь и качаясь на влаге широких озер. Вдали он подобен цветным парусам корабля, и бег его плавен, как радостный птичий полет. Я знаю, что много чудесного видит земля, когда на закате он прячется в мраморный грот. Я знаю веселые сказки таинственных стран, про черную деву, про страсть молодого вождя. Но ты слишком долго вдыхала тяжелый туман. Ты верить не хочешь во что-нибудь, кроме дождя.